how's it going? So today I have a mixed book haul, and I have a book haul from numerous places, mostly used bookstores. I'll mention the bookstores and then I'll link everything on Amazon. Since they're used, one of a kind. One of the stores is just a local store called Savers that I go to. They have them all over the US, I think, or different states, but in Half Price Books. I sell a lot of books back there and buy a lot of books from our local Half Price Books, and they also have halfpricebooks.com. And then the other bookstore I have that I ordered stuff from was betterworldbooks.com. Yeah, and so, and then I have a few library books. So what I did, since I have quite a few books, is I divided them by homeschool / kids books, it's mostly middle grade fiction, chapter books, stuff like that. And I have maybe I think one nonfiction and then two other kind of nonfiction-y-ish books. I'll talk about those for homeschool. And the second part of the video will be adult books that I bought for myself to read. Yeah. And so first part kids, second part adults. Let me get started. So this book, this is The Heartwood Hotel, A True Home by Kaylee George. This is a chapter book, and I just came across this book and I just thought it looked so cute. I like books about animals. My daughter really prefers fantasy, so she didn't read this, but I wanted to check it out to see if it'd be something that we could use as a read aloud or that she might like. But it was cute. It's definitely I know how to explain it. Like the writing, because it's a chapter book, it's just very, very much a chapter book. It's not, I don't think it's something that some chapter books I read and middle grade fiction that I read, I recommend to adults, for their personal reading, because I do read some middle grade and some chapter book-ish for my own fun. They're rare, the chapter book ones, but this one I find would make a really cute read aloud for younger kids. I think it's really sweet and nothing bad happens in it. It's just a really sweet story about a little mouse who doesn't have a home, and she goes kind of in search for... She doesn't have any family, friends, or a home, and then she's kind of alone, and then she kind of wants to find, connection and a home, and it's kind of a little story about that, and it takes place at this little Heartwood Hotel. Now, that was really cute. This hotel is for animals, so I really thought it kept my interest in the sense that it was cute. It didn't keep my interest because, I don't it's very much written for kids. So cute the way the hotel was set up for the animals. I liked the descriptions, but it's just very simple and sweet. Or if you're looking for a really cute, sweet read aloud, and I believe it's a series. So it's number 1. Okay. My second book from the library is nonfiction. It is Africana, an encyclopedia of an amazing continent. And this book I've been looking at for a while. It's from Wide-Eyed online, and I was really happy that my library got it. And I was just thinking of it for when we start. Right now we're studying U.S. history, and I was actually just searching for books on different continents online, and I came across this. I don't find a lot of really nice illustrated books on single continents, and I thought this was a really good option for Africa. So yeah. So East Africa, so it has parts about the continent as a whole, and then it breaks up into, and has stuff about different people. Then it breaks up into different parts of Africa with some vertical maps. So I'll have to decide. I'm going to think about it. I'm really glad I got the opportunity to view it in person so I can decide if I want to purchase it. I'm still not sure if we're going to study an individual continent. This might be a book I might just check out if, when we get to Africa, when we start doing world history again, which I plan on doing. I'm sorry, I meant world geography. So we're doing the 50 states right now, but next year I'm planning to do world geography. So that was the only 2 library books for kids. And then now I have just other books, a lot of middle grade So yeah, so this is A Murderer's Ape by Jacob, oh gosh, Wegelius. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna read the back. So let me show you guys. It's like, it has some illustration. Let's see, a little bit, and it is 570 something pages. This is an ex-library book that I got from, I think, betterworldbooks.com. Anyway, okay. So Sally Jones is not only a loyal friend, she's an extraordinary individual. In overalls or in a turban, this girl moves along among humans without speaking but understanding everything. She and the chief are devoted comrades who operate a cargo boat. A job they are offered pays big bucks, but the deal ends badly and the chief is falsely convicted of murder. For Sally Jones, this is the start of a harrowing quest for survival and to clear his name. I don't know how I ended up among people. I must have been very small when it happened. My first memory is of sitting on a cold stone floor with chains around my neck. So apparently this ape was like captured, probably stolen from his mother, which is sad, but I wanted to make sure that this, the story wasn't like, about just that. Like, to me, it seems like the ape and this man found each other, and then she's trying to protect this man who's been falsely convicted of murder, or accused of murder, sorry. And so yeah, and so the writing really got me. Like, I previewed the writing online, and it just seemed really interesting, like the way it was written. And everything, it seems like it's written first person from this ape. She's like, I've learned about greed and cruelty. I've had many owners and I would prefer to forget most of them. I don't know which one of gave me my name or why, but I'm called Sally Jones anyway. So I just thought it sounded really interesting. So yeah, we'll check that out. And then the next book is a book for my daughter to continue this series, and this is Eldest by Christopher Poloni. This is the second book in the series. She's reading the first one right now, and it's fantasy. It's about dragons, and she's really enjoying it. So yeah, so this is just the second one, so she can keep reading this dragon book series that she really is enjoying. And these are all from Betterworld books. This is Winnie the Pooh, and this is just a classic. We don't own the original Winnie the Pooh. We checked it out from the library when she was younger, but I actually want to reread it myself and have her reread it because it's such a classic. And so yeah, so I got it from Betterworld books. And then this book is also from Betterworld books. It came in a very poor condition. They actually refunded me for this because I wasn't happy. Yeah, and I had a few incidences with Betterworld books this past round, but they did refund me because I always pick like new or very good. I'm not sure if they have like new, but I always pick the highest one because we're rough on books, so I don't want. Anyway, so they did refund me because they were this was not in very good condition. But so yeah, going ahead to talk about the book, not to be too negative. I still like buying used books, but yeah. This is Stuart Gibbs' Pandemonium. This is also, I'm not sure what number this is in the series, but my daughter's really enjoying this Fun Jungle series. And this was one that she requested, so I went ahead and got it for her, about animals. So this one's not, I think it's more like mystery. It's not like fantasy as much, yeah. And, about animals and stuff. She usually reads fantasy, but she likes this too. And then these are some, oh yeah, let me show you this one first because she picked these. Okay, now I'm moving on to Half Price Books. And so yeah, so these two, these two are newer fiction. This, again, she's continuing her series. This is Artemis Fowl, The Eternity Code by Ian Colfer. I'm not sure which one this is either, but she really is liking Artemis Fowl. This might be the second one. So she's going to go ahead and continue reading this. This is very much fantasy, middle grade. And then these two are both from Half Price Books. So she's continuing this series, The Seven Wonders. This is the third one and the fourth one. This is by Peter Larranges, sorry. Okay. So these are also fantasy. and she really likes these. Trying to see if they had some illustrations a little bit and some map in the beginning or something. But yeah, so not sure what they're about, other than they're just very much fantasy about heroes and gods and battles, and yeah, she's enjoying them. Okay, and then continuing with Half Price Books, really working on building our classics collection. So these were part of that. She's never read Bridge to Terabithia, and I've actually never read it either. I just know it's a Newbery Award winner, which I've been trying to read for us to read more like Newbery Awards, and then for me the Pulitzer Award winners. And yeah, so I thought it'd be fun to check those lists, because some of like Kay DiCamillo won one or two Newberys, and then Donna Tartt, who is an adult fiction writer, she won a Pulitzer for The Goldfinch. So I thought if some of my favorite writers won these awards, I want to start checking them out. So yeah, so here's Bridge to Terabithia, and then this is The Giver, a classic. This also won the Newbery Award. I actually never read this book. I did watch the movie years ago, and then I heard about this book a lot, but I just never read it, and she never read it, so that would be interesting for both of us to read it soon. Or for next year. Oh, okay, so now the next section are from Savers Thrift Store. And so yeah, so this is just a book that we randomly found, Upside Down Magic by publisher Scholastic, and then apparently it's like 3 different authors. This just looked like a cute book that she might like because it has a cat and, you know, magic. And I just showed it to her and had her read the back, and she said she wanted to try it. This one is kind of chapter book, more of a chapter book, I believe, than middle grade, just based on the size of the font and this, you know, everything. But it's about magic and a cat, so I think it sounds pretty fun. Okay, and then I got some award winners. I found a bunch of award winners at Savers. So this one is West of the Moon. I literally never heard of this book. But then I saw, let's see. Where did I see? Am I like imagining things? Oh yeah, so best-selling author and Newbery Honor winner. So I think this was an honor. That's why it doesn't have the little stamp. Anyway, I saw this book on some list. Maybe it was because it's a Newbery Honor or the author was honored. Either way, I heard of it and then I saw it at Savers. And so I don't really know anything about it other than it was honored. And let's see. When her aunt sells her to a cruel farmer, Astrid is separated from her little sister for the first time since their father left Norway to seek his fortune in America. Treated not much better than the goats she tends, Astrid makes a daring escape, taking with her a mysterious companion who can spin straw into gold. She retrieves her sister, and together the threesome, armed with only a troll treasure, a book of spells and curses, and possibly magic hairbrush, set off for America. So yeah, so it sounds like it's like has some magical things, but then it's possibly based in the past, setting sail to America. So I don't know, it just sounds kind of interesting. And yeah, okay, let's see. Mid-19th century Norway. So it sounds interesting. Okay, and then these are all Newbery. Well, this one's an honor, and these are all Newbery Award winners. So this one is The Great King by Susan Cooper. The Dark is Rising sequence. Okay, I'm not sure if this is part of a series and it's not the first one or not. I'm not sure what order this is in. I'm gonna have to like read more about this, but regardless, this is a Newbery winner. I never heard of this book. I thought it was kind of fun just to look for these little these little plaques, these little metal things at the thrift store because I want her to read more Newberys. So yeah, so I'm not really sure what this book is about. Welsh legend about a harp of gold hidden within a certain hill that will be found by a boy and a white dog with silver eyes, a dog that can see the wind. Will knew nothing of this when he came to Wales to recover from severe illness, but when he met Bran, a strange boy who owned a white dog, he began to remember. So, sounds like it has some magical elements in it. So we check it out. And then this is another classic, Number of the Stars. And we both never read this book. I might have read this book when I was like so many years ago, but I don't think I did. She also wrote The Giver. So we have another, wow, anyway. So she won 2 Newbery Awards. Wow. Okay, so this is a more modern, popular book, but this is The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. So I actually read this book because my daughter actually wasn't interested in reading it. This was like, we got this book a couple years ago, and then I ended up donating it because she said she didn't want to read it, but then because she was like worried that she'd be kind of sad about the way the animals are treated in the beginning, well, all throughout, I guess you can say. And so I didn't tell her, I told her she didn't have to read it, and then, I don't know, I liked it, but I didn't love it, and I kind of read it really fast because I was kind of like pre-reading it for her. So I want to reread it, and then I want her to read it because now that she's older, I think she can handle it. And so it's not like, I don't know, so Ivan is an easygoing gorilla. Living in a shopping mall, he has grown accustomed to humans watching him through the glass walls of his domain. He rarely misses his life in the jungle. In fact, he hardly thinks about it at all, which is very sad. Instead, he thinks about TV shows he's seen, his friends Stella and Bob, and painting. Then he meets Ruby, a baby elephant taken from her family. Very sad. And she makes Ivan see their home and his own art through new eyes. When Ruby arrives, change comes with her, and it's up to Ivan to make it a change for the better. So it is kind of sad. I do think it is. And it's one of those stories that, is kind of like bittersweet, but not, I don't know how to, yeah. But it won an award. But I think she has interest in reading it now. And then the last book was Dragon Wings. This was a Newbery Honor. Another book I never read, by Lauren, is it Yep? Y-E-P? Lawrence? Oh yeah, sorry, Lawrence. Yep. Wow, they wrote a lot of books. Okay, so this is another book that I want us to check out. Moonshadow was 8 years old when he sailed from China to join his family in America. For years, Wind Rider had lived in San Francisco and made his living doing laundry. Father and son had never met. But over time, Moonshadow grows to love and respect his father and believe in his wonderful dream. So it sounds like it's dealing with the father and his son, and also maybe historical things of, well, depending on when it's set, when they go to America. But yeah, so thought it sounded interesting. Oh, okay. So Golden Mountain Chronicles 1903. So yeah, it starts in 1903. So next year, my daughter will be in 5th grade. She's in 4th grade right now. And we do want her to go to college, and we do want her to learn how to take standardized tests and things like that. I had her take the CAT test last year. She did really, really well. She scored the 99th percentile. That was actually the first test she ever took. She wasn't required to take it. We're in Texas, but I just thought she'd take it for fun. And I've been reading a lot. I'm jumping way ahead, but that's okay because I really just wanted to see the difference between the SAT and the ACT, even though these are going to be outdated, but I still think they do similar things. This is, we bought both of these used, of course, and I just wanted to check them out. And so the ACT and the SAT both have different questions on them and subjects, similar but different. So yeah, I wanted to and it really gave me a perspective on what I want to start including for middle grade, because 5th grade, even though it's 5th grade, it's not 9th or 11th, it's still getting close. Like that's like middle school. So I wanted to start planning ahead for what curriculum and what she's learning. We did a lot of like child-led learning, and I'm not saying I'm going to stop that, but I want to start incorporating a little bit more things she'll need to know, to prepare her for middle school, high school. I know everybody has different opinions on that. And I still think she could walk in, doing what we do now, not changing anything, and score what she scores, maybe even higher. So I don't personally care about standardized tests, but yet colleges do. So for me, I wanted to kind of check them out. So yeah, I'm just quit rambling. That's why I got these. I wanted to show them just in case anybody else like is weird like me. I don't know if it's even weird, but it's like thinking ahead. But so yeah, so I just wanted to show that the SAT covers reading, writing, math. Let's see, essays. And then one of them covers science and history, but not like, it's more like the theory and like reading charts and graphs and like the process of science and things like that versus, yeah. So, and like the outside information that you need to know is like very little compared to like what you need to know for reading, pretty much reading, writing, and arithmetic, I guess you can say for both. And but then the ACT has English, math, reading, science, writing, optional. You can take both tests also. So these books, I'm not prepared to actually, I looked it up online further, and I don't want to like mix these up, but I did learn that there are significant differences between these two. I haven't gone through these two yet because we just got them, but yeah, I went ahead and got them because I just wanted to see for fun what kind of reading, what kind of writing, what kind of math. Obviously we're not nowhere near what she'll need to know for math, but I wanted to just see the structure of the test. I don't remember taking it. I took the ACT, in like the year 2000, so I don't remember anything about it. I just wanted to see just for fun what the math had on it, what the English, writing, etc. Just look at it and then talk to, and then it might help me prepare for what I'm using for her. It did change my mind a little bit for what I'm going to be using for 5th grade. If you reached this far, thank you. Now I will share my books if you're interested. Hopefully you are. Now, the first 2 books I want to show are library books. And this one is Clara and the Sun by Kazu Ishiguro. I'm sorry if I'm not saying his name correctly. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. So he won the Nobel Prize in Literature. So he also wrote Never Let Me Go and The Remains of the Day. So I tried Never Let Me Go. It was just way too just scary for me because it deals with cloning, and it deals with like they actually have a movie on it now too. Just read about it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, and so this book deals with AI, artificial intelligence, and it deals with a robot named Clara. So I really like his writing. I'm sharing this book because I checked it out. I started reading it. I wanted to finish it, but I just couldn't because I was starting to get really anxious because I don't like reading books. I don't know if you consider this science fiction, you might, but it definitely deals with things that were kind of starting to freak me out because I kind of stay in my little realistic fiction bubble, and I'll talk about that again with the next book, but I'm not a big science fiction reader, fantasy reader. I don't really like surprises. I don't really like, this world to me is confusing enough. I like to just stay in this world that we have. Like, I do like movies like The Neverending Story and like The Wizard of Oz and like Willow, and I like David Lynch. I can deal with some magic and fantasy elements, but in books I've never found a book that was really pure fantasy or science fiction that I didn't get scared by, freaked out by, or like really connected with. So this book, I really feel like the writing is really good and I want to share it. I think you should check him out as a writer if you like science fiction, if you like things that deal with cloning, because he is a very good writer. I just was scared to continue because it's about a robot named Clara, and I think she's solar powered. That's why it's called Clara and the Sun. And what happens is she ends up being, I don't want to give too much away. To be honest, so from her place in the store, Clara, an artificial friend with outstanding observational qualities, watches carefully the behavior of those who come in and browse. and of those who pass in the street. She remains hopeful a customer will choose her. But when the possibility emerges that her circumstances may change forever, Clara is warned not to invest too much in the promises of humans. It started to get to the point where I started to get scared of what would happen to Clara and what would happen to someone that she meets. And I just decided to put it down, but for very good reasons, because I'm still recommending it. And it's just not right for me. And that's how I feel. I don't ever give bad reviews on books. I just don't share them. But this book, I really think the right person would love it, because his writing is really great. And I want to try The Remains of the Day, which isn't about AI or science fiction. It's more, I think it's a man who's like a butler, and it's for someone, I think during like World War II, and there's like tension in that and him leaving his job or something. Since I like his writing, and then Never Let Me Go was, I couldn't go there. Never Let Me Go, I heard so many people love it, but I'm just, it's too much for me. I can't, but I think this book would be really nice for someone who likes reading about AI. Or, I really like The Wild Robot, but The Wild Robot is, written for kids, and it's way much more grounded because he deals in nature. And The Wild Robot isn't really asking existential questions. Well, I mean, I guess it is. It is kind of philosophical, but it was like more tame for me. This one, to me, was just too far in a good way, but not for me. And then the same thing for the next book. Oh my gosh. I'm doing a separate video on this book. So you guys, if you want to hear me like ramble about this book for probably way too long, go check out that video. I'm just going to say real quick that this is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. This book, I don't know how I found it. I found it on someone's list. It is totally out of the real realm of what I ever read. I will read this because you still won't, this doesn't really tell you anything. Of course, it's not going to spoil it. Piranesi's house is no ordinary building. Its rooms are infinite. Its corridors endless. Its walls are lined with thousands upon thousands of statues, each one different from all the others. Within the labyrinth of halls, an ocean is imprisoned. Waves thunder up staircases. Rooms are flooded in an instant, but Piranesi is not afraid. He understands the tides as he understands the pattern of the labyrinth itself. He lives to explore the house. He really does. There is one other person in the house, a man called the Other, who visits Piranesi twice a week and asks for help with research into a great and secret knowledge. Okay. This book had me intrigued from the beginning. I was like, what is this? The Other. What is this house with the waves and like what? The statues. And I was like, what is this? Is this like fantasy? And then the front has this like Pan figure from mythology. And then I was like, I didn't know what was going on. And I can't really say too much because I don't want to give it away. Oh my gosh. Like that's why I'm making a whole video on this. This book had me... This book was on my mind literally like when I finished it, which was like last week. I was thinking about it like obsessing over this book for like 2 days. I was like reading everyone's reviews. There's like 1 million reviews on YouTube, and normally I wouldn't do a review of a book because so many other people have like reviewed it, and I'm not really even reviewing it. I'm just sharing my thoughts. But this book really took me out of my comfort zone in a anxiety inducing way and in a good way, because it was the first book I read that I think some people have labeled it, I don't know what Susanna Clarke labels it, but some people have like labeled it like dark fantasy. I never read books like this. I'm really glad that I read it. At the same time, I'm like scared right now. This is why I didn't really finish Clara and the Sun, because I kind of just want to go back in my little bubble of realistic fiction. And yet at the same time, I'm like so thankful to her as a writer. This is pure art. It's pure art. And I'm going to make a whole video about it, so let me just quit rambling. If you're intrigued, then check out my video. If not, there's 1 million videos on it, but everyone has their own opinion. She leaves a lot of things kind of open to the reader. After I bought that book, I bought this book. No, I don't. Like, I was like, I need to read something after Piranesi that is going to ground me. Actually, After I read Piranesi, I read this, The Heartwood Hotel, because I was like, I just want to read a cute little animal story where nothing, yeah, is just gonna scare me. Okay, so I bought this from Amazon. This is the only one I have particularly from Amazon. It's called Anxiety, and it's like Meditations on the Anxious Mind. So this book is by the School of Life. The actual editor and the person who created, I believe, the School of Life, his name is, I think he's like British or he was French. I'm not sure. His name sounds French, or he maybe grew up in the UK. I'm not sure, but let's see what his name is. Now I can't find it on here. But okay, I'm just gonna go with the School of Life. But there is there's a psychologist who, a lot of his books, I think he started the School of Life. I don't want to name him incorrectly. Actually, I have another book by him that I'm going to show. So let me just go ahead and show that. So, Alain, I'm probably going to say this incorrectly, but I think it's Alain, maybe it's like Alain de Botton. Oh gosh, that's horrible. Alain de Botton. Like I said, I think he founded and runs the School of Life. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get to him in a minute, but that's actually, like, one of my friends recommended the School of Life to me, and I actually did a video on one of those books. I think it is called The School of Life. I don't have it in front of me, sorry guys, but if you check out my videos, I think it's like the first video I made on this channel. It's also by the School of Life, and so I really liked that book. It's just like I don't know if you want to call it like a self-help book. It's just like a book on, like anxiety and things like that. So this one, the cover really drew me in. That was really pretty. I already have it. Like, I have anxiety. Like, I have health anxiety. So it's not like Piranesi gave me anxiety. It gave me anxiety after reading it because I wanted to figure it out. But I was kind of half joking when I did want to read something more concrete, nonfiction, because I was like, I don't know what to read. Other than I'm reading Dickens right now, Great Expectations. But so yeah, so I went ahead and got it. They always have really cool illustrations a lot of times in their books, The School of Life. And I haven't read it yet, so I will show it on my Instagram, or I probably want to do a separate video on it, who knows. But I'll talk about it again if I really, really liked it. So right now I literally just got it today, and I plan on reading it. And they have so many books. I have probably like I don't know how many they have. They have like dozens. And they have a lot of books on a bunch of different cool subjects. So check them out. I'll link this. And yeah, I'm going to check this book out. And then now let me get to my books. I'm going to speed it up. I'm probably rambling too much. Okay, since I already mentioned him, this was from Betterworld Books. Really rough condition. They actually refunded me for this. They sent me another book in really rough condition. But yeah, so it's like all kind of... Oh, and it has writing in it. Not happy about that, but they did refund me, so yeah. Okay, this is A Course of Love, a novel by... I'm just going to show it because I'm probably messing it up. But yeah, so this book is... So he usually does a lot of nonfiction, but this is fiction. What's interesting about this book, The Course of Love, it's about these people who get married, this couple. And what's interesting is he stops in between the actual format of the novel, and he kind of, in italics, gives his, I'd say the narrator, or, I mean, obviously this is, the author, giving his opinion on things like psychology stuff, like in between. Like, so here's the actual novel, and then here's the italics, and then you have a bit of the... So I've never read a book like that, where you have the characters, the novel going on, and in between you have a narrator. Well, yeah, I have had books where narrators come in, but I haven't had a book from where a narrator comes in from a nonfiction type point of view, almost like philosophical. Like right now it says it's just this is chapter 2, I think, and then he's in between it's the stories of relationships maintained over decades without obvious calamity or bliss remain fascinatingly and worryingly the exceptions among the narratives we dare to tell ourselves about love's progress. So it's kind of poetic little inserts that Alain, I if I'm saying that correctly, comes and adds. So that's kind of what intrigued me, because I already like him from the School of Life, and reading the books I have read, it really was just that one, but there's so many books I want to read by him, but yet this one's fiction. So I thought I would check it out, and I just started it a little bit, and I like the writing, and I'm going to continue. I have a hard time finishing books if I don't like the writing. The book I have is just a classic Henry Miller, Tropic of Cancer. I had to cover the front because this wasn't the cover I ordered. That was another issue I had with Betterworld books. I picked a different cover. It wasn't this man on the cover, and it was just like, but yeah, I'm not gonna really talk about this, but it's just a classic. I read this in college. It is something else. Like, it's definitely 150% for adults, but I really like his writing. It's very raw. I just really like his writing. So yeah, this is Tropic of Cancer. I had a copy in college, and then I missed. Actually, my husband and I have like a hardback vintage copy, but it's like very delicate, so I wanted to just get a paperback. This is another. Let's see. This is My Cousin Rachel. This is by Daphne DeMarner. I'm probably saying her name wrong too. Of course, she's a famous author that wrote Rebecca. I love Rebecca, so I wanted to try her other work. And this is just about, says a gothic tale of passion and unswerving love that turns to suspicion and fear. Rachel, a woman of exquisite beauty, descends on the great Cornwall estate of Philip Ashley. So it's about a woman named Rachel, and it just sounds really interesting. If it's anything like Rebecca, and the cool thing is they have a movie, and this is the movie version of the book, and this is Rachel Weisz. I really like her. So Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This book I actually tried like probably a year ago from the library, and I couldn't get into it, and I'm really glad I tried it again. I don't know why. I guess sometimes if I don't like a book immediately, I might like it another time. And it was always one of those books where I was like, I want to try it again, because I really thought I would connect with the plot of it, which is about an introvert named Eleanor, and I'm an introvert. And so she has social skills. She lacks social skills, and so she struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. I don't connect with her. Like, I don't think I am exactly like her at all. Just the introvert part. I started to read it, and I really like it so far. So I'm hoping it will continue to be interesting. It seems kind of about a quirky introvert. This one I know nothing about, but it won a Pulitzer, and I'm kind of on this little, journey to read Pulitzer Prize winners and Newbery Award winners. So I thought I would try it since it was right in front of me. I know nothing about this book. This is Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. And it just says that she's a retired school teacher who deplores the changes in her small town of Crosby, Maine, and in the world at large, but she doesn't always recognize the changes in those around her. So it just sounds like, something I would normally read, like realistic fiction, and I want to check it out. And then this book I have literally checked out from the library 3 times. Each time I got a little bit further, but I never finished it because I was probably checking out too many books, and because it is dark. But again, it's a classic. It won the Nobel Prize. Let's see. I don't know why I was thinking. Oh yeah, so it won the Pulitzer. That's why I was like, yeah, I think it won a Pulitzer. But yeah, so it's really beautiful writing. I really like Toni Morrison's writing, and even though it's a little dark, I do tend to prefer books that aren't so dark, even though I say that, but then I love The Secret History, I love The Goldfinch. It just depends. I like a balance of light and dark. I like literary fiction. I like books to be character driven, and even if it has dark aspects to it, if the writing is beautiful, I'll go for it. And this is that book for me. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it. It's a classic, but I want to finish it this time. Okay, and so this book, I don't know what I was thinking. It's probably going to be, this is like very much an adult book. This is The Crimson Petal and the White by Michael Faber. I think I'm saying that correctly. It is a good size. It is, let's see. It's It's like wow, this is even bigger than the Goldfinch. This is like 830 pages. This book, I really don't know how I found it either. Like this one I ordered from Thrift Books. Betterworld Books. So this book, it just literally what interested me is the writing. It's like the way it's told. It's like, watch your step, keep your wits about you. You will need them. This city I'm bringing you to is vast and intricate, and you have not been here before. You may imagine from other stories you read that you know it well, but those stories flattered you, welcoming you as a friend, treating you as if you belonged. The truth is that you are an alien from another time and place altogether. I don't know if this person is speaking to another character in the book, or he's speaking to us as the reader. And it really intrigued me. It is a dark book. Like, I think it deals with, like, I'm not gonna even like say everything. Like, I think it deals with some really, it's like deals with like Victorian England, and someone compared it to like Dickens. So it's in like the 1870s London, and so it deals with I think like class and different things. So it sounded intriguing to me, and like I said, I saw it on some list, and I usually try to read the writing, and it sounds interesting, so I'll check it out. And then this book, I started it from the library, but I literally was reading it too slow, so I had to buy it. This is A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. This one is, let's see, it's like almost 500. I was like 462 pages. I'm a slow reader. Basically, I wanted to take my time with it. I'm pretty much like almost like halfway through. So, but I have it bookmarked. I have it written down somewhere else. But anyway, so I decided to go ahead and order it. And it's about a man who is living in this hotel. He's referred to as the Count. I forgot his full name. It says it in here, but he's a count. So he's like this rich man. Let me read it so I don't like spoil it. So in 1922, the 30-year-old count is deemed an unrepentant aristocrat. He is sentenced to house arrest at the Metropole, a grand hotel across the street from the Kremlin. He must now live in the attic room while some of the most tumultuous decades in Russian history are unfolding outside the hotel's doors. So I don't know if you would consider this historical fiction, but it's like based on a certain time, which is starting in the 1920s into the 30s, I think, or more in Russia. And so it deals with some things like that, which I'm not normally drawn to things like that, because like I said, I like reading about just like, I don't know, the lives of women and animals or coming of age. And this is interesting to me, though, the fact that he's stuck in this hotel by house arrest. He really didn't essentially do anything specifically wrong. It's just like his thoughts or his poetry they thought maybe would influence people. I don't know. I didn't like the political stuff. I'm not really fully understanding, but I'm not reading it for that. I like the story of him. How is he going to deal with this? Like, how is he emotionally going to deal with this life in the hotel? That's what interests me. How's his life changing? So far, it's not really gone a lot into his past life, other than the fact that obviously he was like rich, and then now he's kind of having to live like, I think, below his means, because they took away a lot of his stuff, pretty much all of his stuff. And so, yeah, so I just think it's like a character study in a way, and I haven't finished it yet. I'll let you guys know what I think when I finish it, if I do. This is Griffin and Sabine, An Extraordinary Correspondence by Nick Bantock. This is just, I don't remember how I found this book either. I was just like searching around online. This is kind of different. Like, it's for adults, but it's like, I think it's like a pop-up book. It has like all these different little, not every page, but see how it has these openings and stuff? These letters, and it has like illustrations of postcards. So basically, it's like Griffin had never met a woman named Sabine. How did she know him? How did she know his artwork? Who is she? Thus begins the strange and intriguing correspondence of Griffin and Sabine. It is a story that is partly a romance, partly a mystery, and completely a work of art. Each page contains a new card or letter, rich with lush colors, brilliant drawing, and wildly imaginative creatures and landscapes. And in this multimedia novel, each letter must be pulled from its own envelope, giving the reader the delightful forbidden sensation of reading someone else's mail. So I just found it online. I was like, what is this? Like, I never heard of it. And like, it's just, it seems like an interactive book. I want to say like for adults about these two people develop, I think possibly like a friendship or something else. And so it had me, it had me intrigued just from reading that. And so I'm interested. So yeah, that is it. And so yeah, thanks so much for watching this video and listening and subscribing and liking. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Bye.